As I've watched a lot of my friends that are grassroots activists in Texas come out and endorse Ken Paxton for Attorney General, I felt it was extremely important that I speak up and let them know things that I know about Ken Paxton's campaign for Texas House Speaker. Having been involved helping to build the Momentum campaign with Rob Hurlburt of Sovrenti, I was in communication with the campaign on many things. We actually helped to put together events at Storybook Ranch, Women on the Wall did, and we were working hard to really show the grassroots that we were organized, coordinated, and that we were ready to really get in the fight and change the leadership. The other reason that those events were so important was to demonstrate to the reps the amount of energy that was in the mission to replace Joe Straus. I hadn't really given much thought to the House Speaker's race in 2011. Really, it was one of those things I think most people just wanted to forget about because it was so upsetting to so many people. Didn't think much about it again until Ken Paxton announced that he was going to be running for Attorney General in Texas. And as I was going back and looking at different forums that had been held throughout the state on the AG's race, I could not believe what I was hearing. I could not believe that he actually was comparing himself to Ted Cruz, talking about the great amount of courage that he had exhibited in the House Speaker's race by challenging Joe Straus. And I think the key word there is challenging, because that was never really the goal, just to challenge Joe Straus. The goal was to actually be a candidate in the running in that race. And somehow or another, the story has gotten turned around, and I guess people have, maybe they have amnesia. They don't really remember the events, or they don't know the events.
We are talking about the history of the state. We're talking about where the state's going to go, where we're going to be in the future. And if we re-elect the status quo, I'm convinced that what Rebecca talked about, wherever Rebecca went, those types of issues will not be addressed. Our budget won't be addressed the way you want it. We'll have higher taxes, and it'll be hard to distinguish between a Democratic administration and a Republican administration. And once we go down that road, I don't know how we get back. So that's why this matters so much. If we do it now, because this is our best shot to take them out. If we don't do it now, it becomes very challenging in the future.
Let's take them out.
Supposed to tell you, why don't you tell them about it? You get up here.
The Paxton Express leaves for Austin on Tuesday at 5:30 in the morning. There are a couple of seats left if you'd like to go. See us, and we'll make it possible.
Who is that?
First of all, what an exciting time to be a Texan. I have to say this, I won't go on because I know you want to hear about this. But I think it's been such a fabulous coordination of activities between the grassroots, Tea Party, 912 groups, and the GOP groups, and the county chairs. I mean, I think it's been a fabulous coordination.
We have a lot of different groups who are coming down to Austin. Some of them are coming on the 10th. I'll be down on the 9th. I know several people will be down as early as the 8th. So it's going to be a great weekend. One of my favorite bumper stickers back in the 80s when I lived up in the Panhandle was, "Lord, give us one more oil boom. We promise we won't waste it." We cannot afford to waste this election. Amen. And the whole idea behind all of us going to Austin, whether it be the 10th or the 11th or the 8th or the 9th, is to make sure that we start reminding our representatives that they're working in our house. We hired them. They asked for the job. And we call the shots. And that's what it is.
Hold on, almost.
I would just remind everybody that whoever supports Strauss, primary preparation begins on the 12th at 6 a.m.
Yes. Hey, thanks so much for coming out, and we thank our friends at Storybook Ranch. Thank you, Michael, so much. And hopefully, you know, we'll be having a victory rally. Victory rally, that's what we're going for. Okay, thanks, guys.
A day and a half before that event was to happen, we were told by the campaign that we needed to cancel that event. And I thought that was extremely odd for the campaign to do that. And so we told the campaign that we were the ones that were hosting the event. It was our event for the preview of Speaker Showdown web video and the ads that we were going to be running on TV, and that we really wanted Ken to attend, but if he didn't, that was fine. The event was going on because we were determined to push forward with our plans to really build momentum. We began posting footage of those events on Facebook and in different venues. And the campaign contacted us and actually instructed us to take that footage of Lori Medina out, to take the footage of Matt Armstrong out, and to remove the footage of Ken Paxton talking about how important it was for us to take Joe Strauss out now, because it would be very difficult later. Well, to me, if you're serious about doing something and you scrub the very video footage that would have really fired up the very people that were going to make it happen, I call that confusing. It makes me wonder exactly what was going on within that campaign. That was the first troubling sign that we had. And then, of course, when we got to the actual vote and Ken withdrew, I really thought that perhaps he had not been completely forthcoming. Perhaps he was telling the House reps one thing and telling us another, I guess. But I know that things were not as they seemed. A lot of people didn't know the actual pullback that we were having when so many of us were moving forward. We were running ads on TV in key areas, actually ran them during the bowl games on Fox News, and we were effective with them.